What's going on, boxing fans? It's Julian Williams with the Distance here with another fantasy matchup for today. My last for the day, possible last for the week. I will be back with a few more next week. Actually have some good ones lined up for next week. Don't want to do too many today, but might do one tomorrow. Depends. If you guys want one tomorrow, I'll do another one. But as well, I encourage you guys to send me mailbag questions as well, so I'll answer my video for you guys. Haven't had one in a while, but anyway, I have one, another one today. This guy actually looks at a lot of my videos on the classic heavyweights. I know he's a fan of the classic heavyweight era of George Foreman, Muhammad Ali, Norton, Frazier. I know he's a fan of that era because I see him. I see his comments. He talks a lot about it. Actually looks at all my videos on the classic heavyweights. This is for this video, and he sent me a message yesterday. I don't think he subscribed to my channel or not. I don't think so, but he did send me a message. This one is prime George Foreman versus Joe Louis. Wow, this one is another hard one to break down, another hard one to analyze somewhat. Really, because of the size advantage. Foreman, had a big size advantage over Joe Louis. I think Joe Louis had like a 73 inch reach, I believe, something around there. I might be way off, but I know that Foreman had like an 82 inch reach, and on top of that, Foreman threw a lot of straight shots. A lot of his shots, he would kind of just drag you to the ropes and just land a lot of straight punches. And even if your defense was solid, he was so strong, those shots would just go through, and he would just lunge through with those shots, and sometimes they just go through the guard. But Joe Louis was a very good technician in the ring, a very good ring general as well. Foreman was a good ring general. Joe Louis was a good ring general. But the power definitely goes to George Foreman. I'm going to give the power advantage to George Foreman. I think that Foreman was stronger. And then, speed and overall boxing ability, I'm going to give to Joe Louis. Though I thought George Foreman could have shown that he had more boxing ability. He did show it early in his career. He showed that he could box on his toes. Very early in his career, it's not shown when he had that kind of reign of terror when he was the champion. But he did kind of show very early in his career that he could actually move around quite a bit and was a little more mobile. But then he kind of adapted to this style where he would just come forward and he would lunge, or just throw out all these straight shots, and it was working for him. It was working for him because he was getting the knockout. He was getting the knockout almost every time. But against the Joe Louis, I'm not sure if it will work or not, because Joe Louis had a very stiff jab. It was stiff and quick. He landed a lot of his shots. He threw some good counter shots, and on top of that, against bigger heavyweights, when he was knocked down, he usually just got right back up. He got right back up and just started fighting again like it was nothing. So Joe Louis had a lot of skill overall. And I think that a lot of people sometimes a lot of people don't really look at that. They don't really. There's a lot of people, when you talk about the best heavyweights of all time, some automatically, one of the first people that come to mind, is Ali, because Ali kind of put himself out there. So anyway, that's just kind of me just getting off topic there. But Joe Louis had some great skill, and he was a great technician and tactician in the ring. Very tactical, knew what he really knew how to fight. And Foreman was pretty much a big puncher who liked fighting. There's a difference between liking to fight and knowing how to fight. And Joe Louis honestly, in a fight like this, I think that Joe Louis would do something similar to Ali. He wouldn't necessarily do a rope though, but I think that he will let Foreman punch himself out toward the later rounds, or let Foreman. I know that Lewis probably wouldn't stay on the inside with Foreman, but I think he would let Foreman kind of come towards him and throw all kinds of shots. Throw his shots because pretty much what he did was he did come forward and he threw. I think Lewis will let him do that, but at the same time, Foreman was open to Joe Lewis's best shot, the short right hook. He was open to that shot. So I think that honestly in this matchup, I think late in the fight, in the 14th round, 13-14, hell, maybe even the 8th round, 8th or 9th round, somewhere late, in the fight, I would say that Joe Louis would knock out George Foreman, with maybe a combination of short hooks, because it was just George Foreman was definitely open to Joe Lewis's best shot, which was that short right hook. The short right hook, when it landed, either you were hurt, stunned, or going down. And I just think Joe Louis would chop George Foreman down. I think honestly, Joe Louis, who was highly skilled, I just think that he would kind of draw Foreman in and just throw his right hook. On top of that, he's better. He's better conditioned than George Foreman was, and he kind of just held his own ground. So I'm just gonna say Joe Louis will win this fight by knockout, probably in between 9. I'll say 14, between 9 and 14, because this one's kind of a toss up here. But I'd say Joe Louis will win by knockout in those rounds, because Foreman was always open to that short right hook. So anyway, that's my thoughts on this fight. That was the distance. Thanks for watching. Peace.